13. She's giving me a hard time about trying out for the next show while I'm still in rehearsals for this one. I'm so busy. And I love it. What I like most about rivers is you can't step in the same river twice. The water's always changing, always flowing. People, I guess, can't live like that. We all must pay a price. To be safe, we lose our chance of ever knowing what's around the river bend, waiting just around the river bend. I look once more, just around the river bend, beyond the shore, somewhere past the sea. Don't know what for. Would I dream the day might send just around the river bend for me, coming for me. Not every show is Cinderella, has got to come from Pocatella. My star will rise like bubbles in champagne. By now you guess my one ambition is not to be no mathematician. I was born to amuse, from the tip of my nose to the top of my shoes, strike the band and hand me my hat and my game. Yes, I was born to enter. I was born to enter. I was born to enter. My mom wants me to have this normal childhood. She's ready to pull the plug. And I just got an acceptance letter into the University of Michigan. Their theater program only takes 10 girls out of the entire country. So what if I got typed out of my first big audition? You there in the back row, love me when I sing my song. Hear me loud and clear and strong. Tell me that you need those dreams I bring you. Take these words I sing you. Show me I'm not wrong. Reach out through the shadows, your hand taking hold of mine. Touch me, light my life with sunshine. You need me, can't you see how I need you? Mother said straight ahead, not to delay or be misled. I should have heeded her advice, but he seemed so nice. He was a really good voice teacher. How could he do that to me? And he showed me things, many beautiful things that I hadn't thought to explore. They were off my path, so I never had dared. I had been so careful, I never had cared. And he made me feel excited, well, excited and scared. When I was betrayed by someone who I really trusted, I was too afraid to tell anyone. I kept that secret inside for months, and all the confusion, shame, and anger that tormented me manifested itself in my stomach. I had always heard how the mind and body are related, but I didn't realize how much. It was April of my senior year, a week before my prom, and I was in a coma. One minute I'm sleeping in my bed, the next minute it's months later, and I don't recognize anything or anyone, including myself. I had just gotten my college acceptance letters, and the biggest problem in my life was which one to choose. Suddenly, everything wasn't so possible anymore. Before Lord God made the sea and the land, he held all the stars in the palm of his hand, and they ran through his fingers like grains of sand. And one little star fell alone. So the Lord God hunted through the wide night air. walking through the night and the day, till my eyes get weary and my head turns gray. And sometimes it feels maybe God's gone away, forgetting the promise that we heard him say. And we're lost out here in the stars, little stars, big stars. I remember waking up from my coma, and I was so heavily sedated that I felt like I was underwater. Then I started trying to take bites of my brothers because I thought they were pieces of fruit. Since I couldn't talk, I made up my own sign language, which was mostly pointing to words on a board that my mom made, and then just a lot of... And then I remember the terribly sobering day that the doctor finally told me what was going on. He said I had no stomach anymore, I couldn't eat or drink, and he didn't know when or if I'd ever be able to again. What do you say to that? I felt like there was no God or anyone to protect me anymore. For a bit, I lost faith in everything. I felt betrayed, as though the promises made to me as a child were all lies. I was 18, hormonal, and comatose during my senior prom. I would have loved to shout out to those young, eligible med school bachelors, "Hello, up here. I'm a person. I'm a woman. And legal." One time, there was this really cute doctor, and he was about to come in and examine me. So I put on a little makeup, a little mascara, a little rouge, and he came in, looked at me, and said my bronchial tubes were entrancing. My epiglottis filled him with glee. He simply loved my larynx and went wild about my pharynx, but he never said he loved me. He said my epidermis was darling and found my blood as blue as can be. He went through wild ecstatics when I showed him my lymphatics, but he never said he loved me. Once I loved such a shattering physician, quite the best looking doctor in the state. He looked after my physical condition, and his bedside manner was great. When I gazed up and see him there above me, looking less like a doctor than a Turk, I was tempted to whisper, "Do you love me, or do you merely love your work?" He said, my cerebellum was brilliant, and my cerebrum far from NG. I know he thought a lot of my bravado, but he never said he loved me. He said my maxillaries were blue, and found my sternum stomach to see. He did a double hurdle when I shook my pelvic girdle, but he never said he loved me. The highlight of my day was when I was finally allowed to brush my teeth, for the soothing gargle of ice-cold water that would kill me if I ever dared to swallow it. Those basic human needs I couldn't fulfill reminded me of other primal needs I couldn't fulfill, like being outside, feeling the cool air on my skin. It's funny how we take the little things for granted. And ice like vinyl on the street, cold as silver, white as sheet, rain like strings and changing things like leaves. I remember leaves, green as spearmint, crisp as paper. I remember trees, they're as coat racks, spread like broken umbrellas, and parks and bridges, ponds and zoos, ruddy faces, muddy shoes, light and noise and bees and boys and days. I remember days look forward to field trips, like when they would take me downstairs for a CAT scan. I even started to like the clowns that came in and played the ukulele. And even the mimes. Well, not so much the mimes. The only marking of time and sign of hope were the small triumphs, like being able to sit upright in a chair for the first time, or my vital signs getting a little bit better. And after months of not being able to talk, they finally took me off the ventilator. But within an hour, I talked so much, I used up all my oxygen, and they had to put me right back on. Ryan, whenever we arrive, take me to the world where I can be alive. Let me see the world that smiles. Take me to the world somewhere I can walk for miles. Take me to the world with all around things growing in the ground, where birds that make a sound are birds. We shall see the world come true. We shall have the world. I won't be afraid with you. We shall have the world. I'll hold your hand and know I'm not alone. We shall have the world to keep, such a lovely world will we. We shall have the world forever for our own. Since all of this happened just before I had a chance to graduate high school, my headmaster actually surprised me at the hospital with my own private graduation ceremony. Cap, gown, diploma, everything. On top of that, my dad drove home to Connecticut that day and picked up 6 of my high school friends who I hadn't seen since the day before my coma. I burst out crying. Oh, and you remember I told you about William Finn calling me and me taking a picture of the caller ID and putting it in my scrapbook? Well, when I was in the hospital, my mom was looking through my old scrapbook, found the picture, called the number, and told William Finn what had happened to me. So now here I was receiving my high school diploma in the middle of the ICU, and in attendance were my parents, my headmaster, my 6 best friends, and William Finn. This song of his is one of my favorites. I'd rather be sailing, yes I would, on an open sea. I stand at the railing if I could, feeling wild and free. The sun is on my neck, the wind is in my face. The water is incredibly blue, and I'd rather be sailing. Yes, I'd wanna go sail and then come home to you. Friends are good, but I'd rather do sailing. Food is nice, but I'd rather do sailing. People are swell, but I'd rather be sailing over the horizon. improve. I started to get my old spunk back, which the doctors were happy about, and not so happy about. I was restless, antsy, and starting to feel like a prisoner. My parents slept in the ICU with me every night, so they were feeling a little cooped up too. We had to get out, so we decided one day to make a break for it and go shopping. The time was 3:35 p.m. on a Tuesday. The doctors had rounded, the nurses were filling their meds, the coast was finally clear to bust out of this joint. We plotted our escape in the mess hall. Dad would keep a lookout, while Mom and I headed towards the service elevators, down to the lobby, out the back entrance, onto 166th and Broadway, and we were free men. I was having a great time. I was free of my IV pole for an hour. I was dancing in the middle of the street singing, "I got no IVs to hold me down." I didn't understand why everyone was staring at me until my mom pointed out that I was still wearing my hospital gown. I didn't care. I raced down the street, turned a corner, and found myself face to face with Juanita, the social worker. Someone must have tipped her off. We were kindly escorted back, and at nurse's report that night, there was a little announcement. Amy Oestreicher, blood draw, bandage change, and please make sure that she and her family stay on the unit. You're not my mother. You can't give me a curfew. I know as an ICU patient, I just can't go traipsing about New York, but I was also a stir-crazy teenager. The doctor seemed to expect me to just be happy that I was alive, but I wanted a timetable for how long it would take to get my real life back again. People are telling me I'll be surgically reconnected soon. I'll eventually be able to eat and drink. Soon enough, before you know it. Time, patience, the tears I'm shedding now, I hear will dry in time. The fears I'm fearing now, I hear will die in time. While I wait around for tomorrow, watching life drift away. What about, yes, what about today? I know if I just wait, the sun will shine someday. And when it does, the weather will be fine someday. Skies I search for tomorrow, stay that same shade of gray. What about, yes, what about today? Things are better than they are. I wanna think we've gotten further, and that far is just an inch away. I wanna lie. A horse with wings. I wanna think of things like that and other things. I want two brothers, one who laughs and one who sings. I hope the future brings a horse with wings. I wanna know when the things they told me way back then were really so. I wanna make a little mark before I go, not barely just get by. I wanted spiritual fulfillment, to find God again, but I'd give him up in a heartbeat for a hunk of steak. Instead, I had what my dad called my nightly pina colada cocktail, which was actually a 3-liter bag of milky white IV vein food that I'd have to carry around in a purse for 16 hours a day, in addition to a feeding tube in a backpack. My parents were heartbroken that I couldn't eat, so they rid the house of all food. My dad would actually come home from work and hide in the garage eating his eggplant parmesan. But my sense of smell at that time was superhuman, so I was definitely onto him. I missed having contact with food. What people don't understand is that seeing food, smelling it, even playing with it actually gave me some kind of vicarious satisfaction. In the hospital, all the kids who couldn't eat were always the ones who wanted to play in the toy kitchen. We're obsessed with what we don't have. So I was going crazy with no food in the house. I mean, even if I can't eat it, can I at least hold a potato or smell an orange? Orange food. I'm anxious to try it. 3 bagels a day. My favorite diet. Just picture a great big steak, fried, roasted, or stewed. Oh, food, wonderful food, marvelous food, beautiful food, glorious food, wonderful food, glorious food. I was finally allowed to drink clear liquids. 2 ounces of water the first week, then 4, then 6. I couldn't wait to take my very first sip of water with the tiniest straw I could find. I took a sip and I was disappointed to find that water didn't have any flavor. Then I started to have a little fun with fluids. Since I didn't have a working digestive system yet, the surgeons actually created an opening in my neck. So anything I drank went through the opening and into a cute little bag. I would try to drink different colored juices based on what I was wearing. So my bag would match my outfit. For Halloween, I took the bag off, I drank bright red Kool-Aid, and I told everyone I was bleeding. I think I was the only one that got a kick out of that. Tire and test me, but don't scrape my mind. Looking back on faded glories I've sung, now quiet and dry at the tip of my tongue. Why so slow before my time to show all of the wonders which felt deep inside, day after day, while I struggle and hide. Who have I become? It's time to warn her, to find herself and sweep her from the corner. Life is long enough to sing my song, a song that's strong, that's black and blue, a song that's meant for others too. And I will have my time to sing, I will, for it is everything. To prove myself a woman who was born here, to be more than a song lost in the corner. Kathy Lee and Hoda heard about my art and my story, and they had me on for a segment they do called Everyone Has a Story. David Friedman and Kathy Lee, whose Broadway show is in previews right now, they wrote a song for me that was performed on that segment. This is that song. My life was full of promise, 18, with my best days ahead, when I found myself in a coma, barely a heartbeat, practically dead. This is not the path I planned for myself, but does anyone's life ever work out exactly how they plan it? I was led astray and hurt and betrayed, dehumanized, taken apart and put back together, but differently. But my passion never went away. I kept my hunger alive. Now I know that my role in life is to still be that same performer I always wanted to be when I was 13, but now with an even greater gift to give. A story to tell. All of my friends who think that I'm blessed, they don't know my head is a mess. Oh no, they don't know who I really am, and they don't know what I've been through like you do, 'cause I was made for you. All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. Oh, but these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to. It's true, 'cause I was made for you. Oh yeah, it's true, 'cause I was made for you. I was watching an episode of Bridezillas the other day, and this bride completely flipped out because the flowers on her cake were the wrong shade of magenta. She was literally freaking out like we had reached the apocalypse. I mean, we all blow things out of proportion. I still scream at my mom when she treats me like I'm 10. But sometimes you just gotta remind yourself. When the news is all bad, when you're sour and blue, when you start to get